Hello, and welcome to the penultimate video in our class. I love opportunities to use the word penultimate, and I never have enough. It's Module 13. I have my voice back, so let's rock and roll. This week, your project is to do an OPAC investigation. As I'm sure you know from Kaplan, what an OPAC is, so we're not going into too much depth there. There is a site called Capterra's site of best library automation software. And they have a list of a bunch of different OPACs that you can use, depending on the size of your library, all that sort of thing. My personal OPAC is Koha, which is an open source thing, and a lot of schools kind of push Koha because it's free. Although I do it through MLS, it's not telling tales out of school to tell you that it's $1,000 a year, which my district used to think was a lot until I showed them what they did. They have made for our elementary school libraries, which are not staffed by librarians, but rather parent volunteers, they do use just free Koha that one of the IT guys put together. But I tell you what, it doesn't work great. So, but if you have good tech support, if you go through LibLime as I do, that's the group that MLA or MLS, I can never remember. I believe it's MLS. Masscat is the name of the collective. Anyway, they do a great job. I have to say, they're super supportive. It is worth every penny I spend on them. So open source is not always the cheapest option time-wise. That's one thing. But it can be done right. And then Follett, is the big kahuna. I wanted to put a link to the Follett scandal. Maybe I still will. It's not too late to edit, because that might be something interesting for the discussion. Because how interesting is OPAC discussion going to be, frankly? All right, so you're going to go to Capterra together. You can do it separately, whatever. You guys are collaborating. That's not my part. Although one thing I will say is that Zoom is your friend with this. I mean, if you can do face-to-face, that's great. But where it's vacation week, the one of you who is actually working with an OPAC can just open up Zoom. They can be the one that shares their screen and show all the nuts and bolts. And that way you don't, if you're feeling uncomfortable about sharing passwords, that kind of thing. So, but you can also do it face-to-face. You do you. So you're going to go to Capterra, look at one OPAC that neither one of you is familiar with, and then the interview piece is going to be where you look at the one that you have access to, sort of the backdoor thing. And then you're going to make a presentation. You're going to write a letter. You're going to make a PowerPoint. The interpretive dance is not off the table. However you want. So the theory is your administrator is coming to you and saying, this is another OPAC that some salesman emailed me about, and I think we should change. You know how administrators can sometimes do that. And what you're saying is, no, I love the OPAC that I've got. This is what it does. Okay. And then you're going to compare the new one, the one that you're not as familiar with the one that you're familiar with. Or conversely, if you look at the other OPAC and you're like, dang, I wish I had this OPAC, then what you do is you do a presentation to your administrators and say, hey, you've got me using a dusty card catalog, and I would really like to use Follett. It's not that much of a leap. And then you do your presentation thusly. All right. And then next week, and this is a worry for next week, you guys are going to give each other feedback. So another week where I don't have feedback. And I will look at the process for that in just a minute. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to tell you. You're going to go to the class OPAC page, which the link is right there. And this is for both sections. So when you go to the page, up top is in bold letters, Stephanie and Kara, because they are working together, one from 2966 and one from 3338. So everybody is going to look at theirs because they have bridged the gap. So anyway, everybody's going to look at theirs and leave comments on theirs. But there should be, I think, 8, maybe 7 or 8 presentations for you to look at. And you don't have to go bonkers. You can, really, you're just responding as if you were the administrator, as if you're answering. And what you're going to leave comments like, ooh, I like how you highlighted this, or, oh, we used it and we found this worked great too. Whatever, one comment per thing. Make it positive. if you have something negative to say, I mean, not negative, but if you have constructive criticism, but just be careful about that. We're all super tender right now. And then finally, you're going to, and I think you can do this collaboratively if you want. If you want to work alone, write your own letter, you can. If you guys want to touch base again and just do one letter for the pair of you, I don't really care. But you're going to write a letter to the, if you can't decide, then you each write one letter. You're going to write a letter to the proposal that you wish to accept. And then that's what you're going to turn in next week. And that's just you as the administrator. And it's kind of nice because, you know, you guys put in a lot of work and it's nice to get an award. There's no monetary value, but it'll just make you feel good to hear about it. And so when I do your feedback, I'll forward the, your acceptances should you get any. All right. Let me find my way back here. So for this week, you're going to just collaborate, write your proposal, and then you're going to put it up. You're going to put it up on the Google Doc. And I have a list there. Make sure, don't just put a link like your names with linked. Also put the address for the document. For the love of all things holy, do not use your school email or your school Google if your school Google does not allow you to share it outside the district. Okay, just one of you is bound to have one that works. Make sure that everybody can look at that document or presentation, and make sure that people can leave comments. Now, if you decide to get all fancy and do something that's like, I don't know, a video or something like that, that's very cool. In that case, you put a link to where they can access your presentation, and then you put another link to a Google Doc open for everyone that people can just put their comments on. It's an extra step, but you know what? It's kind of fun to look at something fancy, you know, whatever floats your boat in this instance. Okay, I believe that is all discussion. I'm going to add that article about Follett and then do your blog. Your blog post and your discussion are your own, but honestly, if you want to put your presentation up on your blog, that's cool with me. It's just whatever you want to remember from this week. All right, I haven't even looked at the discussion from last week yet because I don't... I'm so worried about making you all read Kaplan, but I think it's going to be fun. And we're back in business this week. I'm going to be hacking away. I only have this many left. So thanks to those of you who said just hit the high points. Still 10 minutes minimum. My shortest video or audio is 10 minutes. So anyway, it'll be fine. It'll get done. All right. I hope you have a great week, great vacation week if you're celebrating, and one more left. Have a great one. Bye.